It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, so all of you hunters, we're going hunting. We're all excited about going out there, putting our gear on, and going shoot those little Bambis out there if we're going to go deer hunting. Well, folks, I want to ask you a question. How's your health? All you hunters, how's your health? This is going to be an interesting show to tune into, and if you know of any of your friends or hunters, I highly advise that you have them to watch the Sam Lesante Show, because we're talking about hunters who are going out hunting and what kind of health are you in, because 60%, folks, 60% of the hunters sometimes, not sometimes, but have some form of coronary artery disease. We've heard of those stories where they go out, boom, guy drops dead, or a girl drops dead from hunting. Today, I'm very happy to have Gail Malloy, who is the Trauma Program Manager for the Greater Hazleton Health Alliance, and Leanne Weidlich, who is the Community Relations Coordinator for GHHA. And we're talking about hunters going out hunting. What is your physical condition? Because we know most hunters sometimes do not care about that. Unfortunately, they die because of circumstances that happen when you're hunting. So we have a Hunters Health Fair coming September the 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And hunters, I know what you're saying. I ain't going, but maybe your wives will go, or get your wives to go, because when you hear what we're talking about today, you're going to want to go to this fair. First of all, Gail, how are you?
Fine. Thank you for inviting us. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I think this is extremely important, because you know there more injuries occur from heart attack and stroke, okay, with hunters, and sometimes they don't know what kind of condition they're in, okay. But interesting, before we start that, and Leanne, I'm going to get to you in a second, okay. I don't want to ignore you by no means. Let's talk about what happened in your life personally with a hunter.
Well, many years ago, my dad, who was an avid hunter, and my brothers, but my dad went out and bought his hunting license. And he was excited. He was always a prepared hunter. Took very, very good care of his equipment. His guns were always well maintained, etc., and his equipment. And he came home, and he had bought his hunting license, and he put it on his jacket, and about 20 minutes later, my older brother came home, and unfortunately, my dad had passed away from a massive coronary incident. And had he unfortunately gone out hunting the first day, he would have been one of those statistics in the woods. We lost my dad, but you know, it wasn't in the woods that day, but he would have been a hunting statistic. So it's very, very personal for me.
So with that being said, how hard is someone's heart really beating while hunting, and the reasons as to why?
There's a lot of reasons that someone's heart gets beating very fast in the woods. One of the main reasons, there's actually three main reasons. One is that it's a very strenuous exercise. People don't appreciate it. It's like a major sport. The terrain is there. People are in mountains. There's grades of elevation, etc. They're walking through uneven terrain. There's the natural epinephrine. People, when you spot a game, a deer, a bear, whatever you're hunting for, you get excited, your heart starts to race by natural epinephrine coming out. The next thing is that when you aim and you shoot, even if you miss, your heart races. If you hit, your heart races. And then, of course, if you bag, let's say you bag a nice big 8-point buck, which everybody has in their dreams, and you want to drag that out, that's very strenuous on your heart. And then there's the environmental stresses. There's the cold weather that comes along at this time of year, and then you're in the altitude. So these are stressors. And how do you know what your heart can stand? There's a little formula that has been, it's a quick formula that was devised by researchers when they found out about these hunters that had the coronary artery disease. They take 220, the number 220, and you subtract the person's age. So let's say someone is 40 years old. You think that's a pretty robust kind of guy, and he's out there to hunt. So you take 220, and let's say we subtract his age of 40, and that's going to give you a number of 180. You take 85% of that number, and that's going to give you 153. That's the most that guy's heart should beat at the fastest, and the fastest it should go. Therefore, anything over 153 is a danger or a red zone, putting his heart into extreme stress. When your heart goes into extreme stress, they can either have a heart attack or you could trigger something. You know, your heart's like a battery.
Yes.
Just like in your car. So if the battery has a little bit of a glitch, you can cause an irregular beat and you can have a heart attack, not just from coronary artery disease, you know, the fat in your arteries, but you can actually cause an irregular rhythm and your heart can stop.
Now, of course, most people know their personal health conditions, you know, at least in general, all right? So hunters, you know, if they're out working, most of them are, you know, maybe men or women, you know, they're very active, they're in there, and they say, well, you know, I'm going to work every day, you know, I feel good, you know, I'm moving, etc. You know, so how much of a risk do you think an active person who is a hunter has?
I think if you're not really actively doing aerobic exercises at least 3 times a week, and that's just could be walking, getting out and raising your heart rate to exercise your heart and acclimate it, you are at risk. And you could jog, you could bike, you could do anything like that to build up the ability of your heart to withstand a stronger beat. So just because we work, you know, we get up from our desk, we don't realize we're not really putting a continuous stress. So you want about 30 minutes of continuous stress, aerobic stress, about 3 times a week.
So when anyone who's going to go hunting, okay, and we have this Hunter's Health Fair, okay, now, this was put together, it says free health screenings and hunting-related information, correct, Leanne?
Correct.
Now, the reason I think, you know, the hospital or the Health Alliance decided to, well, Fred, you tell me, why did you decide to have a Hunter's Health Fair, which I think is extremely important for people who are hunting, because I think you're going to save some lives here, okay?
Yep. That's our goal, Sam, and again, thank you for having us on today.
My pleasure.
I actually got the idea from the Susquehanna Health System, Lycoming County. They've had a very similar health fair for many years, and it's been quite successful. As you know, in our area, hunting is a very popular sport. And unfortunately, I hate to, you know, target the gentlemen in our area, but a lot of times, you know, the guys in our lives, they don't think about their health. You know, it's usually the woman who makes the healthcare decisions in the family. And with the majority of hunters being men, you know, we have to drive the point home, like Gail said, that you have to be in a good physical condition before you go out into the woods. Because as you mentioned, Sam, we always hear stories almost every year. A hunter goes out in the woods, he's late coming home, a search party is sent out into the woods and they find him. And unfortunately, maybe he had a cardiac arrest or he's even found dead in the woods.
And I think what happens, I know a lot of my friends, okay, my age, and people, a lot of my relatives, they're hunters, and they're in their 50s, okay, and they've been hunting since they've been 20 years old, all right? I guess younger kids, when I say kids, I'm saying the younger kids who are 20 years old, they figure, well, they don't have to worry about going to this. But you see, you never know. You never know what you have going on, because you may feel you're in the best of health. Most of us guys have these little pot bellies, I wish I could lose mine.
So do women.
Yeah. Talk about it. It's like my wife. She's like fabulous shape. God bless her. Knock on wood. Anyway, we have these little pot bellies, okay, and we are active. But like you said, Gail, certain things happen when you're hunting. You may be doing things, pulling, a deer or running or, all this emotional things that have an effect on us. So at this health fair, okay, which is going to be September the 19th, folks, and it's going to be at the Hazleton Health and Wellness Center, 6 to 8 p.m., the 19th. Wives, girlfriends, or whatever, get your husbands or boyfriends to go to this health fair. If not, you go there and tell them what's happening, because I'll tell you what, you're going to be giving some things away. The Hunter's Health Fair, at that particular thing, what were some of the things that you'll be doing or talking about? Okay. Will you be doing it, or who wants to
I
answer?
feel like I can tell. Okay.
It's your turn now.
Okay, good. We're going to have a variety of health screenings there, of course. We're going to have your traditional blood pressure, pulse rate, and oxygen readings. We're going to have cholesterol. So we're asking anybody who's going to attend to fast at least 2 hours prior to coming to the health fair. We're also going to have Dr. Abbasi talk about the proper body mechanics when you're taking, your prize deer out of the woods. And as Gail mentioned, cardiac incidents really happen during the hunting season. So I thought it was imperative to include free heart rhythm screenings as an integral part of the health fair.
Okay, now, right off the bat, I'm thinking, I'm going to go there and get a physical. I could go to my doctor and get a physical, which isn't a bad idea anyway. But, this is what you're talking about are very simple things. They're not, we're not taking, shirts and, other than your blood pressure. It's not going to be like a physical going to a doctor, so we don't want to, I don't need this, okay?
It's not invasive, as they say.
That's
the only thing, if you go to the cholesterol table, they'll take a blood sample, of course. But you don't have to go.
Why is it important? Why is it important to know what your cholesterol is?
Well, Gail could probably speak to that more, but I believe it has to do with you have a higher incidence rate of blockages if you have high cholesterol.
Right. That's right. That's really an indicator of coronary artery disease because the fat can accumulate around the coronary arteries first, and therefore it's a precursor for having a heart attack.
And you hear, just this last couple of weeks, I've talked to some people worry, I got a stent put in, I had a cardiac.
Exactly.
And they didn't know what happened. They felt, and I didn't even know I had it, Sam, but I, I was coughing or whatever. And so these are things that people don't know.
Look at President Bush. He just biked 100 miles with the servicemen, and he had to go and have a stent put in. Because he had a blockage, and he was in wonderful physical shape. So it can happen.
So here again, the Hunters Health Fair. Now, folks, I'm going to give you a phone number, okay? It's 501-6204. That's 501-6204. It's the Hunters Health Fair. It'll be September the 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. And if anything, drop by, because there's a lot of things we're going to be talking about, but just for information. Even if you go in there for a half an hour or an hour, just to get information about it, it can save your life. We come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about, what should you carry with you? What are some of the preventive things that you should be doing if you're going hunting? Because as you all know, we know the stories, folks. We know what happens, who took a stroke, who took a heart attack when they're out there because of the excitement of hunting. We'll be back right after this message. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Remember, 24/7, you can watch any of the shows, our news, everything's on our website at www.ssptv.com. Thank you so much. We're over 2.5 million hits. And today, hunters, attention hunters, we are talking about your health and about what can happen if you're out hunting, if you get a heart attack, a stroke, etc. My guest today is Gail Malloy, who is the trauma program manager of the Greater Hazleton Health Alliance, and we have Leanne Weidlich, who is the community relations coordinator. Now, first of all, folks, let me tell you, this Hunters Health Fair is September the 19th. Let me tell you, it's 6 to 8. You don't have to do all of these testings that we talked about. You can be selective if you want to, but we're asking you to register. And the phone number is 501-6204. That's 501-6204. Or go to their website and register GHHA.org. Now, that night when we go there, okay, I said before, you don't have to, I know you're doing, all these different, things that you're going to offer to them. They don't have to take all of them, right?
No, they could hop around. They can just come for one screen and leave, or they can do all the screenings. And that we're also going to have the State Game Commission is going to be there with an exhibit, as well as Gander Mountain.
And it's interesting because these hunting safety tips, okay, I know a lot of hunters are going out, first of all, a majority of them know what to do, what to wear, etc. But, where you're talking about positively identify your target, stay in the zone, plan your hunt, buckle up, all these different, keep fit, stay found, be seen. All these different things can save a person's life. And I think primarily this is the whole reason, right, that we're having this particular Hunters Health Fair, correct?
Yes, it's to raise awareness. Hunters are very savvy. They're very smart people.
Yes,
They're
are.
outsmarting the game.
Yep.
But what they need to do is be smart for themselves. We don't need someone to make their family hunters' widows or hunters' survivors. We want them to come home and be proud and bag their trophy. So we want them to be prepared before they go in the woods. And one of the things is to come to the Hunters Fair and get their physical checkup or go to their doctor. The other is to start their some aerobic type exercises we mentioned earlier. There are some other preventative things they can do.
What are they?
Well, I have to tell you, generally hunters are just a gregarious, fun sort of group of guys in general, or gals, but they really are. And they like to get together. Sometimes they go the night before to a camp and they have a good party attitude, and they might drink and might smoke and play cards, and they eat pretty well. That's pretty taxing for them. We'd like to make them aware that that's a little too much. Sometimes they go, there's a lot of diners open first thing during season. They open up in the morning and they have Hunter's special breakfast. And they go and they have eggs and pancakes and, sausage and bacon and all that great stuff and 5 refills of coffee. That's so taxing on their coronary system because all that sits in the stomach and the blood goes there, and that taxes the heart. So we're going to try to tell people to please be aware to have a lighter breakfast, have some oatmeal, ease up on your body, give your body a break, be good to yourself. Another thing we want to tell people is to pack themselves a little safety kit. Put some aspirin. Make sure you have chewable aspirin with you. Why? At the first sign that someone has chest pain, jaw pain, shoulder pain, feels out of, shortness of breath, sweaty, sick to their stomach, they need to chew an aspirin and they need to get out of the woods. And that is because those are signs of a heart attack.
Excellent information. I didn't even think about, because hunters, they make it's a fun thing.
Oh,
you're absolutely right. And, a lot of my friends have cabins and, they go out there and they have a good time. And nothing wrong with that. But, you just said something that is very important because they don't realize they're taxing their body. A couple beers here and play God. And the next morning, make sure I got that big breakfast. And
That's
and
right.
and if they didn't get to the Hunters Health Fair to get any kind of text or test to know that they have high blood pressure, or they have this or whatever,
That's right.
this could be very taxing to them. Correct? Plus,
That's right.
And if I may, Sam, like you mentioned, they're going to down a lot of coffee. Coffee has caffeine. That's taxing to the heart,
That's right.
correct?
That's
yeah,
right.
because it only accelerates the heartbeat.
That's right.
Yeah.
They need to hydrate themselves. Water. Very important to have
so
water.
all right, so I should be careful the night before. I should be definitely careful what I'm having for breakfast. Don't load up on the ham, the sausage, the eggs, the pancakes.
That's
have
right.
a light breakfast.
Yeah.
And bring some chewable aspirins with me. Make sure I have a cell phone. God forbid.
Listen, cell phone is important, but can I also mention, Sam, a radio? And I'll tell you why. How many times I travel all the way up 81 and back every single day. There's a lot of dead coverage, dead cell areas here. And 911, the tree does not have an E911 address. You don't just pick up 911 and say, here I am, and they find you. And if you call and say, I'm in the woods, what do you tell them? I'm by the big green tree next to the gray rock. Who's going to find you? So a radio can help. And then
Why?
Because you can try to give coordinates or they can signal off you. A GPS is even better if you have a GPS. And then at the health fair, Leanne has helped to design a tracker. And we're going to be passing these special trackers that are going to go in your car. And you're going to put where you plan on hunting so that if you don't return, we have a place to start to look for you.
This is excellent information. This is absolutely excellent information.
Thank you.
If you save one life because of this,
That's
you've
right.
accomplished a lot. And boy, hunters, folks, if you're watching, if you missed part of the show, we're on 24/7 on our website, or I play this show a number of times. September the 19th is the time they're having this free program at the Hazleton Health and Wellness Center, and phone number to pre-register is 501-6204. And of course, you go to our website, which is GHHA.org. Interested information as to why. So take some aspirin with you. They have trackers, you have GPS or a radio. that, like you said, I mean, something happens and maybe your guys are down the road or whatever, you
Right.
can't get to them, and you have a chance of saving your lives.
That's right. And a flashlight. Everyone, I think most people know, but you should know the international signal. And the international signal is 3 flashes. It could be 3 gunshots in a row. It could be 3 flashes of a flashlight. That's basically like SOS.
That night, that
I learned
night,
something.
yeah, that night, I'm learning a lot. I'm not
Yeah,
even a hunter.
seriously, yeah.
Really, this is fabulous. You're having some refreshments, and you're going to have a
Yeah.
grand prize, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going to
Oh.
spoil the surprise, but the grand prize is going to be provided by Gander Mountain.
By who?
Gander Mountain.
Okay. And what does that mean?
Gander Mountain,
Yeah.
they're similar to, they're a sporting goods store.
Okay, all right,
It's
I'm
a
sorry.
big sport.
See,
It's
I'm not a hunter.
huge.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a big,
huge. It's
big deal.
our hunters will know
All right.
what it means when I say Gander Mountain
So
in
that's
the
a grand
store.
prize.
Yep.
Now, okay, now look, hunters, I know what you're saying. Man, I know what you're saying. I don't have time. I'm gonna at least, get prepared. Some of the things Gail said are so very important. Your party before or your breakfast, etc. I know you like to have a good hearty breakfast, but this could work against you, particularly if you didn't go to the health fair, hunter's health fair, to find out how your blood pressure, cholesterol, and your heart, etc. is. You could be doing some damage. Let's move on. I got a couple of minutes left. The Fall Prevention Awareness Fair. There's another thing Greater Hazleton Health Alliance is doing. This is going to be September 23rd, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Monday. What is the Fall Prevention? Anyone?
Yeah, well, Gil, if you want to give your statistic that I thought was very eye-opening.
Fall. This is not fall, folks, like the spring, summer, fall, winter. This is I fall down, I can't get up.
Get up. That's
Okay.
exactly right.
yeah.
Everybody makes fun, but
Yeah.
it's not funny.
Yeah.
When questioned, older people are asked what's their scariest thing, and most people say cancer, followed by heart attack and stroke. Falls kill more people in this country than anything. There's 2.5 million falls a year. In Hazleton, we do statistics. We get over 300 people admitted to the hospital because of falls every year. And that's not just what comes in and is either sent back to their physician or, just discharged from the emergency department. Some of those injuries, of the falls that occur, about 46% that injure their head pass away. Women, half of women can expect to fall in their lifetime and break a hip. A third of men can expect to fall and break their hip. 5 times greater chance of passing away in a year after you fall and break your hip.
Now, interesting enough, you're absolutely, I know a lot of people and seniors this has happened. So at this Fall Prevention Awareness Fair, okay, now folks, this is falling down, remember that. Monday, September the 23rd, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. What's going to take place? What will they be talking about?
We're going to have a variety of components involved in this particular event. We're going to have Dr. Ais Mohidin. She's our endocrinologist at Alliance Medical Group. She's going to be talking about diabetic neuropathy and how it can affect one's balance. We're going to have a free balance screening for participants. We're going to have local vendors who sell durable medical equipment. They're going to be specializing and showcasing their fall prevention products. We're also going to have a fall prevention bingo with prizes, of course, for everybody who comes. And we're also going to talk about how to exercise properly, to deter balance-related issues. You name it. We're going to cover the whole gamut from A to Z.
Once again, the thing I love about the Greater Hazleton Health Alliance, of course, I've been an avid supporter since I started my program, is that you're continuing to educate people.
Absolutely.
And the little things, I told you
Absolutely.
before,
Yeah.
I'm the biggest baby when it comes to going to doctors. You
So
know
am
that.
I. I'll admit
I forget about it. It took me 2 years to get a colonoscopy. So, the point is, but however, it's so important for these people, particular hunters who are going out who feel they're in great shape but may have something that may be just a precaution. Now you have people who are falling down,
Absolutely.
okay, that may be able to come to this fair and say, well, if I do this, it'll lessen my chances of falling down. Because I didn't know that statistic, Gail.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that more falls kill people than cancer?
Yes. In this country, it costs us $30 billion a year. And when people fall, every 5 years after the age of 50, doubles the chance of someone having a life-ending fall.
And here again, a simple thing that you're told at this particular fair, okay, which is September 23rd, folks, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Again, 501-6204. The call for that, just to learn about it, something. It's interesting.
Well, we want people to be safe, and we want them to be healthy and happy.
Gail, it was a pleasure meeting
Thank
you
Sam.
and talking with you.
Thank
and
you
Leanne,
so much.
I see her
Thank
every
you for
month.
having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
our
again.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Folks, all I could say is we have the information available to you to help you live longer and better. Just a little prevention. Hunters, consider going to the Thursday, September the 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. And anyone, certainly who is over the age of 50 or 60, should definitely go to the Fall Prevention Awareness Fair, which is Monday, September the 23rd, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Phone number, folks, for all this is 501-6204. Please, folks, pay attention to this, particularly hunters who are going to be going out hunting. Please get to that health fair, and you know who you are when those people are falling. Thanks again, folks, for coming on. You're watching the Sam Lesante Show. Remember, if you missed part of this show and you want people who are hunters or who are going hunting, go to our website, ssptv.com, and you can watch this show 24/7 anywhere in the world. See you next time.